So hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today at this Your Overseas Home webinar. My name is Ryan and I'm the marketing manager here at Your Overseas Home. Today, I will be chatting with Manlio, a real estate attorney and a senior partner at C Legal. In this webinar, we'll be chatting about the legal considerations you should consider when moving to Italy. It's great to have so many of you here with us today, whether you're watching live or on demand. We invite you to post any questions you have for Manlio in the questions tab on the right hand side of your screen. We will answer as many questions as we can during this 30 minutes chat session with Manlio. So we obviously hope to answer as many queries and questions as we can today, but if we don't get around to them, please don't worry. Any answered questions will be forwarded to Manlio and his team. So before we get cracking into the questions, Manlio, can you please introduce yourself and what C Legal do?
Yes, thank you very much, Ryan, and hello everyone who will join this webinar. I'm Manlio Gervasi. I'm senior partner at Legal and Tax, a boutique law firm based in Rome, but with other office all over Italy, which we have other office in Tuscany, in Lucca, in Puglia, beautiful region of Puglia, Ostuni, and also two other offices in Sicily, Palermo and Noto. We assist international clients in navigating through the legal system in Italy, and we cover a lot of matters such as real estate law, visa and immigration law, Italian citizenship, inheritance, taxes, and business setup. So we cover a lot of matters, and we help international clients in navigate to Italian legal system. This is our main field of domain. We have every year our clients are more and more from all over the world, basically men from North Europe, from UK, from the US. We experience an amazing time. The law firm is growing. The team is really, for the moment, now we are approaching holiday in Italy. A lot of tourists, a lot of inquiries, and we are happy to assist clients in all the matters and safeguard their interest throughout the purchase process, which is also really complicated. We are at the disposal of the clients, and I'm at the disposal and happy to reply to the question at this webinar.
Nice. So thank you very much for that introduction. And as Manlio mentioned, the process of moving to Italy is a long process, and obviously there's loads of questions that we can answer today. So a lot of our clients will be want to move to Italy or looking to move to Italy. So I'm just going to ask some questions. So what is the process of gaining residency and citizenship in Italy currently?
Yes. In order to relocate to Italy, we are registering a lot of requests from UK, which now the process is with Brexit is more complicated, and from the US. Basically, they can relocate to Italy. People from citizens from non-European countries such as UK and the US, they should obtain a valid visa in order to relocate to Italy, which means there are not many type of visa that they can apply. For example, they cannot apply to move, and it is a bit difficult to obtain, for example, visa for working permits. Or it's not possible to open a business entity and acquire a visa. A possible visa could be, which is more or less simple to obtain, is after the purchasing of property, and apply for the visa for elective residency, for Italian visa for elective residency. But this visa is not allowed the applicant to work in Italy, which means this visa is basically for retired people which would desire to move to Italy and don't work and prove to the Italian consulate abroad where there is the authority where they have to apply to have sufficient meaning to stay in Italy without working, economic resource for the amount of 32,000 euros per year. And these economic funds must come from a passive income, which means investment funds, rentals, savings, etc. In order to show that to Italian authorities that the applicant come to Italy, it can stay longer than 90 days, stay longer than 1 year, but without working in Italy.
Okay, nice. So yeah, obviously you touched on the visa options there. So if I wanted to move to Italy, what are the most popular long-term visa options for UK nationals?
This is the most popular visa for nationals,
Okay.
for UK nationals. This is the most popular. It's not quite easy, but it's the most, the only possible, actually, the only option, because in Italy, the Italian government has not still applied the remote visa, which is still not in force at this time, unfortunately. And unfortunately, we are still waiting. Let's see in the next couple of months if the Italian government decide to come to regulate this new visa. But unfortunately, it's not in force at this time.
Okay, nice. So we're having some questions come in already, which is great. So thank you for the interaction. So I'm just going to read Peter's question to you, Manlio. So he said, I read that I can get a permanent visa to live in Italy full time rather than a 90 days in each 180 days. So as long as I can support myself financially, what does supporting myself financially mean? And must I buy a property before applying? And he's saying he's retired.
It's possible that also with the intention to buy with a preliminary contract registered. Also, you can already decide to buy property. Is possible also that with a preliminary contract registered, but it's not only necessary. Purchasing a property is not value. Also, for the Supreme Court of Italy, is already economic requirements that the applicant can match. It's also possible if they have the applicant has the economic requirements also to obtain an apartment for rental with a registered contract. So rental contract with which is registered by the law and written by a lawyer can also be possible to apply for this kind of visa.
Okay, nice. Makes complete sense. And so we have a lot of these questions coming about if one of their partners, if someone's partner holds an Irish passport. So Holly's asking, my husband holds an Irish passport and I'm a UK citizen only. What would be the best and easiest visa for me to apply for if she wishes to move to Italy?
This is the best option because Ireland is an European Union country. So in this case, the Irish spouse of the husband can move to Italy. She has to apply to the local questura, apply for acquiring a residency showing 5,000 euros per year as economic basic requirements, apply for getting an insurance, apply for the health system, and after she will get Italian residency, the UK citizen can join the Irish applicant and resident in Italy as a member of family. So it's more easier.
Nice. So yeah, if anyone holds an Irish passport, you're really lucky these days. So
yes,
hopefully that answered your question, Holly. She's also at the end of the question talk. She speaks about speaking remotely, working remotely, unemployed employed by a UK company. And I know you touched on earlier about the digital nomad visas, but what's the latest on that? Because we've also had Keith ask a question about those visas.
Unfortunately, there are no latest, no news. The new government still doesn't want to apply for this visa, even if we are still waiting for the requirements for the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But there is no news, and the law is not in the force yet. It's not in force yet.
Okay, cool.
There is no news.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we had a conversation, I think, a year ago, and there was still no developments on that. So yeah,
yes, unfortunately, the government decided to stop this law is blocked.
Cool. So yeah, moving on. So Chris has asked, do you get to stay more than 90 days in 180 days across all EU countries if you take this visa?
Which one? The elective visa elective residency?
I guess so. Yeah. The
If they get an Italian visa, they can stay longer than 90 days across the European Union countries.
Okay, cool. Nice. So yeah, Paul's asked a question. So he is planning to buy soon, and at 54, he plans to retire there eventually, and would like to rent out the property until then. But this seems impossible from what he reads.
So why is it possible to rent the house?
Yeah, renting the property in Italy, I guess.
No, if he owns the apartment, if he's the owner of the apartment, he can rent. I don't understand the question.
Okay. So I plan to retire there eventually and would like to rent out the property until then. So he's got a property in Italy, and he wants to move over there, but until he goes out there and retires, he wants to rent.
Yes, it's impossible to rent apartment in Italy. It's easier to rent apartment in the biggest city like Rome, Florence, Milan. It's easy. There are a lot of foreigners that rent out property and houses also for a long period of time, not only short period of time.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. So Caroline has asked, my daughter is in a civil partnership with an Italian and they have 2 children. She has lived in Italy for 18 years and is applying for citizenship, which could be confirmed in the next 2 months. Can she get a visa using family connections?
Yes, she can use a family citizenship, Italian citizenship, if they move to Italy and apply for residency. Okay. This depends if they live abroad or if they live in Italy. This makes the difference.
Okay, nice. So we have a Norwegian client here. He said, what about Norwegians? What's our options for citizenship?
For citizenship, Italian law is really open to provide the Italian citizenship. But in order to get Italian citizenship, the applicant has to have in heritage Italian blood descendants that can. Otherwise, they have to obtain a valid visa if they don't have any Italian descendants, grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, etc. They can obtain Italian citizenship in order to apply. They cannot apply. Only they can apply for Italian citizenship if they don't have any Italian ancestors. Only after 10 years of Italian residency continuously. They after 10 years can apply for Italian citizenship, which is the second most powerful passport in the world, actually.
Okay, nice. That's good to know.
Yes.
We've just had answered that question. So we've got a question from an American. So if I am an American and work remotely and have their own apartment. What is my best current option? Do I need a visa if I visit 90 days or less on a tourist visa?
If he lives less than 90 days, he doesn't need a visa. If he wants to live longer than 90 days, he needs a valid visa to stay longer than 90 days.
Okay, nice. So we've got a question about income level as well. So I know you mentioned that at the start, but I think
Passive
someone
income.
might passive income. Yeah. So Peter is still not clear about what income level he needs to obtain to get a permanent visa. Can you clear that up for him?
Yes, the economic requirements is 32,000 euros per year. To show these economic requirements to Italian authorities, coming from passive income, which means from rentals, from investment funds, because they purchase a house abroad. Basically, this is the definition of passive income. The example. Obviously, passive income that is not a work, an employment, monthly income per month. This is not the passive income.
Okay. Okay, makes complete sense. So Joshua has just asked a question as well. So we're looking to move to Italy on a permanent basis to purchase a property to use as a wedding venue. What type of visa would be applicable for us?
If they want to carry out business activities, they could have an option to set up a company. And the legal representative, unfortunately, after 3 years of activities of the company, of the running company, after 3 years, they can obtain the visa for business.
Okay.
We do also a lot of this kind of visa. There are a lot of Americans that buy property and use as a venue for weddings, for accommodation, for boutique hotel. And the legal representative can obtain, after 3 years of running of the company, obtain the visa for business. They stay longer for 90 days, even 1 year.
Okay. Perfect. So Nigel's just asked a question as well, saying, my wife is Italian. We both live in UK, but want to buy a property in Italy and live 3 months in UK, 3 months in Italy. So that's 180 days in Italy. What are the options?
As I understand, they actually live and work and reside in the UK. Even if the wife is Italian, unfortunately, it's not possible to obtain a visa to stay longer than 90 days. Even if they decide to move their residence in Italy and live permanently here and come back and forth from Italy and UK and stay longer than 90 days. But this is also an implication for tax and fiscal residence. So if they want to have more information, they can contact me in order to discuss the topic, because it's not possible, but it's complicated also for the taxes perspective.
Okay. So yeah, we've got quite a few questions coming in at the moment. So I do apologize if we can't answer all these in 30 minutes, but it's great to see the interaction. So Caroline has just asked, is it easy now to change a UK driving license to an Italian driving license?
No, it's not easy, because unfortunately, in order to buy a car and obtain also Italian driver license, the foreigner needs to obtain a residency.
Okay. Oh, so you have to have residency before you can switch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Italian residency.
Nice. So we've got another question here. So I think we've answered that question already. So sorry, I'm just scrolling through them because some of them we've actually answered. So yeah, we answered that one as well. So Holly's asked, further to her question above, my parents are Chinese citizens. Would they be able to join me too for applying for a family visa? After me and my husband moved to Italy, would there be any further requirements for them?
Well, the parents know. Instead, if they are the same member of family, which means they live in the same house abroad, in the same family status. But parents, if they live in another house, they don't have the same member of family, they cannot join.
Okay. When you get a visa, is there how often would you need to like reapply for it, or are there any procedures around reapplying for visas?
It's possible. It is necessary to renew the visa. Depends. For example, if we speak about visa elective residency, is the first renewal is after the second year of stay permanently in Italy, and after the first renewal is every year.
Okay. And how long is the process take of applying for a visa?
For this kind, usually this kind of visa, also other kind of visa, takes more or less 9.
So I'm not sure if that was just me. You slightly cut
Yes,
up there.
sorry. Yes, it takes 60 up 90 days.
Okay, perfect. Catherine has just asked a question about the passive income requirements again. So she's just asked, is the passive income requirement gross or net of tax?
No, it's not needed to. It's also basically we need to prove also through bank statements that they receive the funds. So it's not necessary also pay taxes. It's not a requirements. Pay the taxes abroad and show the net taxation.
Okay. Nice. So yeah, we've got another car question from Chris. So regarding buying a car, is the only opportunity for non-residents? I assume that this means people without EU citizenships or a visa to rent a car. Shall I repeat?
Yes.
Shall I repeat that? Yeah. So regarding buying a car, is the only opportunity for non-residents basically to rent a car?
Yes, basically it's the only option. There is no other option to purchase a car, even they are not resident in Italy.
Okay. So we've had another question come in. So it's about the 90 to 80, 180 day rule again, and just to clear it up for people that have joined. So is there any movement to change the UK 90 to 180 day rule like Spain wants to?
No, because you mean the 90 days visa tourist?
Yeah, I guess so. If there's any,
No,
I guess Spain wants to change it.
No. Spain, I don't think I can change. I don't know if because it's a EU regulation basically. Because we live in a Schengen area, so it's not only the single member state that can decide alone, no. But there is no any possibility to change these 90 days rules. Also because it's also international rules. If you go on holiday in US or you go on holiday in other countries, you stay only these 90 days permits for touristic purpose.
So we've had another question come in saying, hi, I'm Irish. It's lucky to be Irish these days. And hi, I'm Irish and want to buy a holiday home in Italy. Is there any way to know exactly how much I would have to pay on top of the house purchase prices, i.e. tax, notary, etc.?
I can the property taxation in Italy is based on the cadastral value on the property. So is not based on the purchase price of the property, the transfer taxes ownership. For a real estate transaction, for the professionals involved in the transaction, who is the estate agent, the surveyor, we will recommend to hire a surveyor for technical due diligence. If the client is represented by a lawyer who represent the clients throughout the process, the notary arrives at the end of the process. The notary, the role of the notary and lawyer in Italy is different. All these professional, the buyer has to consider roughly 10,000, 15,000 euros for professional fees, more or less.
Okay. Nice.
Is
Thank you.
a roughly.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, if you have any specific figures that you can send to Mandio after, he can clear that up in more detail. So yeah, be sure to get at them. So we've had another question come in about the £32,000 passive income requirement. So is that number required per person or per household?
Sorry, I missed you. The Italian tax number?
So yeah, there is the 32K passive income that is required per person. Is it per person or per household, that figure?
No, is per person. If there is a more member family, there is an addition of 2,000 euros for each member of family.
Okay, that makes sense. And is that figure 32,000? Is that euros or sterling?
No, 30,000 euros.
Euros. Okay.
32,000 euros.
Okay. So I've had another question come in about property. So are there any restrictions on buying a property if we spend no more than 90 days per time in there twice a year in Italy?
Excuse me?
Sorry. So are there any restrictions on buying a property if we spend no more than 90 days per time there?
No, there is no any restriction. Only we need to verify if the buyer, if the reciprocity principle is verified by Italian authority. The lawyer and the notary has the mandatory check, but the reciprocity principle, which means that if an Italian can buy a house, a property in a foreign country, also the buyer of this international country can buy property in Italy. In Italy, most of the country of the world of the country of the world can buy a property in Italy. It's not matter if they obtain a visa or if they want to stay less than 90 days or they want to visit for tourist purpose. They came freely.
Okay, nice. Thank you for clearing that up. So Holly's just answered the question actually. So if they move to Italy, will they get taxed on their UK income?
This depends on the fiscal situation. If they move their residency, it's better that they can contact all our firm, because we have also a chartered account, also in order to file the property taxation that are due every 6 months on the property and on the Italian fiscal authorities, and verify where they are fiscal residents, also with the UK chartered account. This depends on the situation, but they have to verify as soon as possible.
Okay. So I think we've got time for one more question. So
Yes.
Anne has asked, hello, if you own a house in Italy, but also own a house in the US, do I need to file taxes in both Italy and the US?
Regarding the property taxation, you have to pay taxes for the property in the US, and you have to pay the property taxation in Italy. Okay. It's important if they are Italian residents, they have to file the tax return in Italy, and they have to declare that they own overseas property abroad. So it's important to declare.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, that's all we have time for today's session. So I really appreciate all the questions that have come in and the great interaction today. So thank you, Manlio, for all your insightful tips and advice. We strongly recommend you get in touch with Sea Legal directly to discuss your requirements in detail. We'll be in touch with their details really shortly. Again, thank you, Manlio, for sharing your knowledge with us today, and thank you to our listeners for joining us. So yeah, before we finish, we'd like to invite you to leave a Trustpilot review. You can either go to our website or find us on Trustpilot. So yeah, thanks again, and happy property hunting, and nice chatting, Manlio. See you later.
Thank you everyone. Bye.
Bye.